Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You want to bring up? You have, okay.
No, no, a little bit, just a little bit.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Sattva Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Sattva Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauravakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasanyati Gauravakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradhari.
Yasodanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Goda Premanandi, Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivacharya, Ashtotar Sadashva A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnavrinda Ki, Namacharya Shlahadasa Thakur Ki, Namesake Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki, Ganga Maya Ki, Yamuna Maya Ki, Tulsi Deva Ki, Bhakti Deva Ki, Samaveta Bhaktivinda Ki, Lord Chaitanya's Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Atmadanga Ki, Prabhupada Ki, Shri Sri Tagore Chandra Ki, Shri Krishna Janmastami Ki, Shri Krishna Janmastami Ki, Gaura Premanandi, all glorious to the assembled devotees, all glorious to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glorious to Sri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vicharine, Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Pastichari Shatani. Hari Bo. Vanchakalpoturu Yascha, Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Well, Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. Thank you for welcoming us also to New Ekacakra Dham.
Hare Krishna všetkým. Ďakujem za pekné privítanie v novej Ekacakre Dham.
After three years of being in absence,
Po tom, čo som tu 3 roky nebol,
and the beautiful deities of Nitai Gaur Chandra,
tieto krásne božstvá Nitai Gaura Chandry,
the beautiful devotees here in Slovakia.
Krásny, úžasný oddaný na Slovensku.
I don't know when I last came. Was it on Janmastami also?
Neviem, kedy som tu bol naposledy. Bolo to tiež Janmastami.
Amazing. You've been here how many times on Janmastami? 3, 4? I'm not sure.
Neviem, som tu bol asi...
At least 3, maybe 4 times.
Možno 3-4 krát na Janmastami.
I remember one time we did some dramas here.
Pamätám si, že raz sme tu robili také divadla.
Maybe that was the first time.
Možno to bolo prvýkrát.
There's always dramas, huh?
Vždy sú nejaké drámy.
No shortage of dramas in Slovakia.
Nedostatok drám na Slovensku.
Actually, everywhere there's dramas. We're all playing. We're all thinking we're something we're not.
My hráme vždycky nejaké divadlo, v ktorom hráme niekoho.
In a drama, you have to take a role of somebody else.
Kto nie sme a musíme prijať rolu niekoho, kto nie sme.
Completely different part to your daily life.
Je to úplne iný rozmer než náš každodenný život.
And so in the material world, similarly the soul, where in this Maya is the dramatic director here.
Tak podobne v tomto materiálnom svete Mája je ten
really
režisér tých drám,
expert dramatic director.
ktorá je expertná režisérka.
And we're all the players.
A my sme tí herci.
Identifying ourselves very expertly with certain parts.
A my sa veľmi dokonalo stotožňujeme s určitými rolami.
But that's not our real part.
Ale to není tá naša skutočná rola.
So Krishna himself comes and his devotees come.
Preto Krishna samotný prichádza a jeho oddaní prichádzajú.
To remind us of our real part.
Aby nám pripomenul tú našu skutočnú pravú rolu.
Part and parcel of Krishna.
Že sme súčasťou Krishnu.
This is one of the meanings you could say of the statement in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Yada yadahi dharmasya. What else he say? Come on. You all know this verse. Abhutanam dharmasya datvanam shrijamyaham. All the Slovakian pandits. It was the first verse I ever learned.
To bol prvý verš, ktorý som sa ja naučil.
I remember this day. I was about 1974.
To bolo asi 1974.
We were sitting in a lorry.
Sedeli sme v takom nákladiaku.
I mean from Bhagavad Gita. We didn't used to learn verses when I first joined.
Myslím prvý verš z Bhagavad Gita. My sme sa neučili verš na spamäť, keď som prišiel.
About 1974 we started to learn verses.
Ale od 74. sme začali sa ich učiť.
I was driving a lorry.
A ja som šoferoval také nákladné auto.
And we were driving to the port, the docks.
A išli sme do prístavu.
To pick up a huge shipment of books.
Aby sme vyzdvihli veľkú dodávku kníh.
And I was sat next to Rohinandan Prabhu. You may have heard that name.
A ja som sedel vedľa Rohinandana Prabhu, možno ste ho počuli.
And he was reciting Bhagavad Gita, and together we learned this verse.
A ja som šoferoval, mi recitoval tento verš a spolu sme sa ho naučili.
It was a good use of time when you're driving a lorry.
To je dobrý spôsob, ako využiť čas, keď šoferujete.
And that was the first. Of course, there's two verses in a row where Krishna explains in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, his reasons for coming into this world or manifesting. He's here already. He just manifests himself.
Potom aj vo 4. kapitole sú dva verše, kde Krishna vysvetľuje, prečo prichádza, prečo sa manifestuje v tomto materiálnom svete.
What's the other verse?
Čo je ten druhý verš?
Very good. Zvolen, all the Brahmin from Zvolen.
Brahmani zo Zvolena to vedia.
And what does that verse infer? What does it infer?
A k čomu sa vzťahuje ten verš? Alebo o čom hovorí? The reason why Krishna comes.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. What does he say? What is the reason he comes?
A čo hovorí, aký je dôvod, prečo prichádza?
Protect the devotees and kill the demons. Yeah. And establish Dharma, religious principles.
A ustanoví dharmu, náboženské princípy.
And not just, of course, different levels, you could say, of religious principles.
Môžeme povedať, že rôzne úrovne náboženských princípov.
Human life begins with the varnashram system.
Ľudský život prichádza z varnashramským systémom.
Chaturvarnya mayashashtam krama vibhagasham. Same chapter. 4th chapter Gita, Krishna said. System comes from him. This varnashram system.
A tento varnashramský systém prichádza od neho.
This is the Naimitika Dharma. It's not Sanatan Dharma, it's Naimitika.
Toto je Naimitika Dharma, nie Sanatan Dharma.
Temporary religious principles.
Dočasné náboženské princípy.
Most of what we have of religion today doesn't even reach that level.
A väčšina náboženstiev, ktoré teraz máme, ani len nedosiahuje túto úroveň.
Cheating Dharma.
Je to podvodné
Neither
náboženstvo.
does it establish who you are,
Neustanovuje, kto ste,
and neither who is God, really.
a ani kto v skutočnosti je Boh.
And keeping people mostly in the dark as to their identity and what is the means of self-realization. Mostly people are kept in the dark.
A tak väčšina ľudí zostáva v temnote o tom, kto sú, kto je Boh a aký je proces seberealizácie.
And it's not even within the category of karma kanda because it's not following religious principles, real religious principles.
Není to ani len v kategórii karma kandy, lebo nenásleduje náboženské
Mostly
princípy.
it's propagating vikarma.
V podstate propaguje vikarmu.
Religion today is mostly propagating vikarma.
Náboženstvo v dnešnej dobe
What is vikarma?
len propaguje vikarmu. Čo je vikarma?
What is vikarma?
Čo znamená vikarma?
Huh? Pardon? Yeah. Activities which are not according to religious direction.
Áno, činnosti, ktoré nie sú v súlade s náboženským písmom.
They propagate eating meat.
Propaguje sa jedenie mesa.
Sex life. Look at the modern day. Look at the situation today. It's abominable.
Alebo sexuálny život.
No idea what the purpose of human life is.
Nikto nemá ani len potuchu, aký je zmysel ľudského života.
Drinking, even the leaders, drinking liquor.
Dokonca aj vedúce osobnosti pijú alkohol.
And you can go on and on and on. So
tak to by sme mohli pokračovať ďalej.
Gambling.
Hazard.
Lottos, all sorts of things. Tombolas, all sorts of things.
Loto a tomboli.
Heavy. And practically, where is the real religious principles being followed?
Takže kde sú prakticky tie skutočné náboženské princípy nasledované?
Yes, they're Koitaka Dharma, they're kind of like misleading people to think you're the body and the goal of life is to somehow or another go to heaven.
Lebo pre nich je len cieľom ísť, že hovoria, že sme toto telo a musíme ísť do neba na konci.
Krishna hasn't come to establish such principles.
Ale Krishna neprišiel, aby ustanovil takéto princípy.
Come to establish real religious principles.
Prišiel, aby ustanovil skutočné náboženské princípy.
Sanatana Dharma.
Sanatana Dharma.
But to come to that understanding or that level of existence, the Varnashram system is there for human beings.
Ale aby sme sa dostali k tomu najvyššiemu, tak máme tu ten varnashramský
systém. To regulate and guide us towards Daivi Varnashram, towards the ultimate goal.
Aby nás viedol Daivi Varnashrama, čo je konečný cieľ.
That's not followed, then it's animal society, basically.
Keď to nie je následované, tak je to v podstate zvieracia spoločnosť.
Whereas religious principles, you don't see, generally speaking, religious principles are not there for animals.
Lebo vo všeobecnosti náboženské princípy nie sú pre zvieratá.
Rare exceptions.
S veľmi zriedkavými príkladmi.
You don't see like the dogs and they may go with their owners, but you don't see the dogs and cats going to church regularly every Sunday, sitting there in the pew.
Možno so svojimi vlastníkmi, áno, ale väčšinou nevidíme, že by psi a mačky išli do kostola a počúvali tam kázeň.
Human life is meant for this purpose, for religious purpose.
Ľudský život je určený za týmto účelom.
So that's the first step.
Takže to je prvý krok.
So Krishna comes to give the guidance not just to remain on this level of materialistic understanding of God.
Takže Krishna prichádza, aby nám dal vedenie, aby sme nezostávali na tomto materialistickom pochopení, kto je Boh.
Parijnaya sadhana means to enliven the devotees.
A takisto to znamená oživiť oddaných.
Help them to establish their eternal relationship with Him.
A pomôcť im ustanoviť svoj večný vzťah s ním.
And to awaken within our hearts this real essence of religiosity.
A prebudiť v našich srdciach túto skutočnú esenciu náboženstva.
There are four divisions usually people would say of, human behavior.
Väčšinou sú to také štyri kategórie ľudského správania.
Or let's say human goals, four goals.
Ľudských cieľov.
Dharma or piety.
Dharma alebo zbožnosť.
Economic development.
Ekonomický rozvoj.
Sense enjoyment.
Zmyslový pôžitok.
Liberation.
A oslobodenie.
So there's a fifth.
Ale ešte piaty.
What is the fifth? Pardon? Yeah, how's it go? What's the reverse? The fifth. Purushata. Panja Purushata. The fifth goal of human life. What is it?
Piatý cieľ ľudského života, aký je?
Yeah. Krishna Prema Kumata Mahan. Love of God. Pure love of God.
Láska k Bohu, čistá láska k Bohu.
Not just a sentiment, but a reality to awaken. This is Krishna's protection to give us this opportunity.
A toto je Krishnova ochrana, že nám dáva túto príležitosť.
And killing the demons. So that's within the heart, to awaken this aspiration within our heart.
A zabiť démonov, aby prebudil túto inšpiráciu v ich srdci.
And what is killing demons? What is that?
A čo je to zabíjanie démonov?
And following the footsteps of Krishna, we have to kill all the demons.
Nasledujúc krokoch Krishnu, musíme zabiť všetkých démonov.
Is that one demon? Hare Krishna, still working.
Yeah.
We should put it somewhere else, more safely. That's there. Is that okay? You want to put it higher? It's going to fall off again, I think. It's just sloping. No, I was thinking that the machine, you can either raise it.
They say it should be louder.
Louder. Yeah, because I can't speak particularly loud because I'm tired.
Ja neviem hovoriť veľmi nahlas, keď som unavený.
Is that okay?
Je to dobré takto?
There's no louder than it was before. So what does killing demons mean?
Tak čo znamená to zabíjanie démonov?
They mean I should go out there now, their sticks or whatever we've got, and start trying to kill demons.
Znamená to, že teraz pôjdeme vonka s nejakými palicami a budeme zabíjať démonov.
Someone says yes. Yes, over there. He looks like a Kshatriya. Powerful Kshatriya. I don't think we get very far.
Myslím, že takto by sme sa ďaleko nedostali.
We would probably be ourselves killed pretty quickly.
Myslím, že my samotní by sme boli skoro zabití.
So what does it mean?
Takže čo to znamená?
Odstraňovanie, zabíjanie démonov v našom srdci.
Exactly. I got it.
To kill the demons in our heart.
Oh my goodness. That's the last thing on earth we want to do.
To je posledná vec na zemi, čo by sme chceli urobiť.
They're my best friends.
To sú moji najlepší priatelia.
They're perfect.
Sú
It's everybody else has the problem. What are we doing now? We're doing something here. Is it good? No, it's good. Okay, we had it back to front.
Všetci ostatní majú problém.
Is that okay? I don't know. Anyway, whatever it is, it is. Yes, where to Krishna comes. He does also kill demons, huh?
On takisto zabíja démonov.
Right from his birth, practically, he was a killer.
V podstate od narodenia bol
Not
zabijakom.
surprising, right? He was born in a prison.
Nie je to prekvapivé, keď sa zrodil vo
Middle of the night.
Uprostred
Born
noci.
in a prison.
Narodil sa vo väzení.
Storm.
Búrka bola ešte.
Thunderstorms, so some demons are being born, and there's lightning and thunder.
A tam sú nejaké blesky a hromy.
Not surprising.
Tak to nie je prekvapivé,
Appeared like this.
že sa Krišna takto zjavil.
And right from baby, practically killing these poor innocent people who were coming to see him.
A už ako dieťa začal zabíjať týchto ľudí, ktorí prichádzali.
Nice people like Putana and Trinavarta.
Pekní ľudia ako Putana, Trinavarta, Shakatasura.
Nice men and women. And Krishna just kills them.
A Krishna ich len tak zabil.
Doesn't even reason with them. He doesn't even reason with them.
Ani len sa s nimi nebavil.
What to do? Well, we know what to do. We know what to do.
My vieme, čo máme robiť.
We know from a mundane point of view or a demoniac point of view, Krishna's pastimes would appear to be completely out of it.
Takže z nejakého materialistického pohľadu sa zdajú byť tie Krishnové zábavy úplne mimo.
He was a thief.
Bol zlodej.
Right? What did he steal?
Čo ukradol?
Huh? Butter. Makanchor. Where's Makanchor?
Makanchor.
Where is he?
Kde je Makanchor?
There he is. He's no longer Martin. He's now Makanchor. So be careful if you have any butter around today.
Takže on sa teraz volá Makanchor, už sa nevolá Martin, takže dávajte si pozor na maslo.
He might not be there by the end of the day.
Lebo na konci dňa tam už nemusí byť.
He runs a restaurant. He needs a lot of butter.
On potrebuje hodne masla.
Stealing.
Takže
lying.
Kradol, klamal.
Making off with other people's wives.
Kradol cudzým ľuďom.
Killing his family members even. Huh?
Dokonca zabíjal vlastných.
What other things does this Krishna do?
Sing on the floor.
Excuse me? My goodness.
Vyčúral sa na podlahu.
Be anywhere. Pinched babies, he didn't care less.
Štípal deti malé.
Trickery. What a trickster he is.
Klamal, podvádzal.
Cheating disguise.
Pretvaroval.
Cheating this Jarasandha. Such a cheat, huh?
Jarasandha podviedol.
Promised he wouldn't fight in a battle and he does.
Slúbil, že nebude bojovať v bitve a nakoniec bojoval.
What kind of a God is this?
Takže čo je toto za Boh?
For a mundane moralist, it would be hard to understand.
Pre materialistu by bolo ťažké to pochopiť.
These things are a little confidential. They're not revealed to the mundane as much.
Že tieto veci sú trošku také intimné, tak nie sú im vyjavené.
Either something you cannot conceive of. In many religions, there's no formless person. It's not even a person, it's a formless whatever.
V náboženstvách není ten koncept Boha, že je osobou.
Or they can't conceive of him being this is also like we heard the other day, like the old man sat up there on the throne casting down thunderbolts.
Alebo ako starý muž, ktorý sedí niekde hore a posiela blesky.
To hell you do go. To hell.
Do pekla s vami.
Looking very miserable with his long beard.
Sedí tam veľmi namosúrený so svojou dlhou bradou.
People bowing down to him.
Ľudia sa mu kláňajú.
Or now, because that, how to say, beyond, there's no real access to that form of Godhead, so then they place the representative of God as God.
Pretože k tomuto Bohu není moc prístup, tak si vybrali teda jeho reprezentanta, ktorý je trošku milostivejší.
And you can drink his blood and eat his flesh.
Môžete piť jeho krv a jesť jeho mäso.
You could never relate to that.
K tomu som sa nikdy
nedokázal vzťahovať. It's and they see that this is God.
A oni toto vnímajú, že toto je Boh.
Well, he represents God. Powered by God.
Reprezentuje Boha, je plnomocnený Bohom.
There's a difference between the served and the servitor.
Ale je rozdiel medzi tým, kto slúži a ten, komu je slúžené.
But that is also not understood.
A to takisto nie je správne pochopené.
Anyway, you could go on and on and on. So to kill all of these misunderstandings.
Takže takto zabijajú všetky tieto naše nepochopenia.
Not just the ones in the heart, also in the world around us. What is
nielen v našom srdci, ale aj vo svete okolo.
Killing religiosity in the name of religion.
Zabíjanie bezbožnosti v mene náboženstva.
And these irreligious processes generally lead to gross materialism and impersonalism, or atheism.
Toto je väčšinou ateizmus a hrubý materializmus.
So to protect us from this, Krishna appears along with his associates and performs amazing pastimes.
Aby nás takto zachránil, tak Krishna prichádza so svojimi spoločníkmi,
most of which cannot be accessed by ordinary persons.
A ukazuje svoje úžasné zábavy, ktoré nemajú prístup obyčajné osoby.
Like ourselves. By the mercy of the pure devotees, those truths or those pastimes and those teachings can be revealed.
A my k ním nemáme prístup, ale milosťou čistých oddaných ho môžeme získať.
Because they see them in truth.
Pretože oni ich vidia skutočne, aké sú.
We don't. We see them through our untruth.
Pretože oni ich vidia cez pravdu, ale my ich vidíme cez nepravdu.
Through our conditioned state.
My ich vidíme cez náš podmienený stav.
The mind is just like a mirror which reflects whatever comes before it.
Mysel je ako zrkadlo a reflektuje všetko, čo pred ňou prichádza.
And it gradually forms a perception of the world around us.
A postupne vytvára určitý spôsob vnímania sveta okolo nás.
Which changes over time due to various external factors, various associations.
A tieto sa menia kvôli rôznym faktorom a vonkajším okolnostiam.
And our perception changes accordingly.
A takisto naše vnímanie sa mení.
This is all under the influence of the material nature and is imperfect.
A toto je všetko pod vplyvom materiálnej prírody a je to nedokonalé.
We're seeing through a colored, like looking through a colored lens.
Takže vidíme všetko ako cez zafarbené.
And judging everything according to how we perceive it.
A posudzujeme všetko podľa toho, ako to vnímame.
Krishna is also in Bhagavad Gita specifically, as far as literature is concerned, you could say, is giving us the opportunity to see things in a different way.
Takže Krishna nám dá v Bhagavad Gita možnosť vidieť veci inak.
Real religion is meant to help change the way we see things, to see things more from God's perspective instead of our conditioned perspective.
A snaží sa nám ukázať veci z perspektívy Boha namiesto našej podmienenej perspektívy.
But as soon as we start to impose our own perspectives on the words of the Lord, everything is lost.
Pretože keď my sa snažíme našu perspektívu, náš uhol pohľadu aplikovať.
So to hear the Bhagavad Gita as it is, as it was spoken, as it is practically effective, one must hear from somebody who is, as Krishna said, who has seen or knows that truth.
Preto, aby sme videli a vnímali Bhagavad Gitu správne, taká, aká je, tak musíme ho vidieť what was that?
We have to hear from somebody who...
Musíme načúvať od niekoho, kto je dokonalý.
Just like Arjuna, he heard with rapt attention the words of Krishna.
Ako Arjuna načúval s veľkou pozornosťou slova Krishna.
Prabhupada says we have to hear the words of the Lord submissively.
Prabhupada povedal, že musíme načúvať slovám Pána pokorne.
Not through the filter of our speculation or mundane logic.
Nie cez filter našej špekulácie alebo svetskej logiky.
So today we're going to celebrate this very special occasion of the anniversary of the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna in this world.
Takže dneska budeme oslavovať toto špeciálne zjavenie Sri Krishna v tomto svete.
How many years is it today?
Koľko je to rokov dneska?
The figure, the date is given there. I've forgotten what it is. How many years?
Dátum je daný. Ja som zabudol, koľko je to rokov.
You might find it. The BC, probably English equivalent. how many years BC?
Koľko rokov po Kristovi.
And then you add that to how many years AC.
A potom to pridáme k tomu, čo bolo
then you'll see.
Pred Kristom.
So whatever it is, 5,000 something or another.
5,000 niečo.
Years ago, it would be a cake for Krishna today.
We're
making a cake for his birthday.
Robíte mu tortu dneska?
Making a cake. Who's in the kitchen?
Kuchyni.
Who's in the kitchen here? Anyone? Makanchor, are they making a cake?
Makančo, nevieš? Robia tam tortu?
Yeah. So you have to find out how many years and put so many candles on the cake.
Musíte zistiť, rokov a toľko tam musíte dať
edible candles. 5,250 or whatever it is. Candles.
5,200 niečo. Sviečok.
That'd be a big cake.
To by bola veľká torta.
Anyway, the real honoring of the real celebration of Krishna's birthday is that we say surrender ourselves to the will of the Lord.
Ale skutočná oslava jeho narodení spočíva v tom, že sa odozdávame jeho vôli.
Nothing else really to offer.
Pretože v skutočnosti nemáme nič viac, čo by sme mohli ponúknuť.
Everything. When Bali Maharaj gave the universe, so to speak, to Vamanadev.
Keď Bali Maharaj dal vesmír Vamanadevovi,
and then he finally gave it very head to the Lord.
A potom mu dal svoju hlavu.
And his wife Vindhyavali, she was chastising him.
A jeho manželka ho kárala.
You're still a fool, she said.
Ona hovorila, ty si stále
First of all, you thought you were conquering the universe.
Najprv si myslel, že porazíš celý vesmír.
Now you're proud because you think you've fulfilled your promise and given the universe to this Brahmin boy.
A teraz si hrdý na to, že si splnil svoj sľub a že si dal tento vesmír tomuto brahmanskému chlapcovi.
Still the mentality of ignorant fool, she said.
Ale stále máš mentalitu nevedomého hlupáka.
That's to get attachment, aversion, free from these dualities.
Že tam stále pripútalosť a nie je oslobodený od duality.
Because in reality, nothing was yours in the first place.
Pretože v realite nikdy si nič nevlastnil.
So how can you give away something that doesn't belong to you?
Takže ako môžeš niečo dať, keď si to nevlastnil?
How can we do that?
Ako to môžeme urobiť?
You say, this is mine.
Povieme, toto je moje.
Sometimes on the street, you're just doing books. Huh?
Niekedy na uliciach.
That's my money. It's mine.
Toto sú moje peniaze.
I don't give you any of my money.
Nedám ti žiadne z mojich peňazí.
So the preaching is to help people to get out of this illusion that something is mine.
Takže kázanie vlastne spočíva v zbavení ľudí tohto konceptu, že toto je moje.
This is protection.
Toto je ochrana.
We get insanely attached to thinking something is mine.
My sme až chorobne pripútaní
k tomu, kill people over it.
Že si myslíme niečo je moje.
Another madness going on in Ukraine. People think this is mine. This is mine. I am this and I am that and this is mine.
Ako to šialenstvo, ktoré sa deje na Ukrajine. Toto je moje.
All imperfection.
Toto sú všetko nedokonalosti.
There's no system to try to see it otherwise.
Neexistuje tu žiaden systém, ktorý by nás učil vidieť to inak.
Krishna's appearance in this world is more than just the day he appears and the pastimes of the Lord and the history and so on. That's good to hear.
Takže to zjavenie Krišna nie je len o tej histórii, že sa vtedy zjavil a je to dobre vypočuť si.
Because his presence, and we'll read the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So what's the verse number?
10, 19, 48.
10, 90, 48.
1948. 1948. So we can repeat. Jayati Jananivasu Devaki Janmavado Yadu Vara Harishat Fire Dorvir Asyan Adharmam Tira Chara Vijina Naha. Just said it again. Vijinagnaha Susmita Sri Mukhena Vajapura Vanitanam Vadayan Kamadevam. This is a verse in the last chapter of the 10th chapter. It's just of 10th canto.
Toto je verš z poslednej kapitoly 10. kanta.
There's a series of verses here which you could say give benediction, summarize the 10th canto.
Je tu skupina takých veršov, ktoré akoby sumarizovali a dávali závery.
Several of them were uttered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Ratha Yatra.
A niektorí z týchto veršov boli vyslovené aj pánom Chaitanyom počas Ratha Yatry.
So this is one of them.
Toto je jeden z nich.
We'll probably come to the other as well. But this is a beautiful verse which we, for some reason, I remember maybe 1975, 76, everyone in the ashram was told to learn this verse.
A toto je veľmi známy verš a v 70. rokoch 74-75 my sme sa ho vždycky učili.
Chant it every night before going to bed.
A vždycky sme ho spievali predtým, ako sme šli spať.
Before we sleep, we would try to. Again, this is the protection. The Lord wants to wake his devotees up. Everyone's a devotee, wants to wake everyone, but particularly those who are a little bit engaged in devotional service.
A toto je ochrana, že on sa snaží svojich oddaných alebo kohokoľvek, kto je aspoň trochu zamestnaný v jeho danej službe, ochrániť.
Reminding us of,
pripomína nám,
the glories of the Lord.
Jeho slávu.
Which are much more glorious than all the reflective glories of this world.
Ktorá je o mnoho väčšia ako akákoľvek taká zrkadliaca sa krása tohto sveta.
Everything starts off in this world, maybe it looks nice, Let's take, we're fasting today, of course, I believe. But let's take a nice preparation.
Všetko začína v tomto svete veľmi pekne, ako povedzme nejaká preparácia.
Take a nice preparation. What's a nice food?
Aké je dobré jedlo? Čo vy považujete za také dobrú preparáciu?
Pizza?
Pizzu?
No, not so keen. Samosa?
Samosy?
No, more traditional here. Samosa, okay. Starts off nice. What happens to it after a while?
Čo sa stane so samosou po chvíli, po nejakom čase?
Pardon?
It will mold.
Oh, yeah, if you don't do anything with it, but let's say you utilize it. What are you going to do with a samosa?
A keď s ňou nič neurobíš, ale keď povedzme, že ho zješ. It will be digested.
Okay, you eat it.
Takže
you eat the samosa and with the intention and hope you'll get a nice taste and maybe some nourishment.
Takže zjete ho, získate z toho nejakú energiu, dobrú chuť.
And what happens to it?
A čo sa s ňou stane ďalej?
Huh?
It will be transferred to fertilizer.
That's a very polite way of saying it.
To je veľmi slušný spôsob, ako to povedať.
Turns into stool.
Premení sa na výkal.
You may not like stool. I don't know if you like stool or not.
Neviem, či máte radi výkaly.
Some people do.
Niektorí ľudia, áno.
So they complain, it's dirty stool. Huh? Yeah.
A my sme sa mohli sťažovať, to je špinavý výkal.
And then the stool answers back.
A ten výkal odpovie späť.
Why are you criticizing me?
Prečo ma kritizuješ?
I was a nice samosa before I met you.
Ja som bol peknou samozou predtým, než
you turned me into this stool.
Ty si za mňa urobil toto.
by association in this world, the material energy decays, transforms into something unpleasant.
Materiálna energia sa vždy transformuje v tomto materiálnom svete do niečoho nepekného.
By associating with Krishna, then we can transform into something spiritual.
Ale tým, že sa združujeme s Krishnom, tak sa premenia na niečo duchovné.
This beautiful verse we used to sing every evening to remind us of that subject matter which will change our hearts.
Takže tento verš sme zvykli spievať vždycky večer, aby nám pripomínal to, čo má silu zmeniť naše srdce.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyanna dharmam.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyam adharmam.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyanna dharmam.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhiranyam adharmam.
Sthirachara vijinagna susmita shri mukhena.
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 Vajapura vanitanam vadayam kamadevam.
Rajapura vyantam atmayam kamadevam.
Vajapura vanitanam vadayam kamadevam.
Rajapura vanitanam atmayam kamadevam.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Yadavara parishat svardubhirasyanna dharmam.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyam adharmam.
Sthirachara vijinagna susmita shri mukhena.
Sthirachara vijinagna susmita sri mukhena.
Vajapura vanitanam vadayam kamadevam.
Rajapura vanitana vadhayam kamadevam.
You would like to repeat?
Chcel by niekto zopakovať?
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Jayati janani vasudevaki janmavado.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyam adharmam.
Yaduvara parishat svardubhirasyanna dharmam.
Sthirachara vijinagna shri mukhena.
Sthirachara vijinagna susmita shri mukhena.
Rajapura vanitanam vadhayam kamadevam.
Vajapura vinitanam vadayam kamadevam. We'll go on. It'll take a long
Budeme
time.
pokračovať.
Jayati.
Jayati.
The same sound in Czech, Slovak.
Žije vo večnej sláve.
Janani vasaha.
Ten, ktorý žije medzi ľudskými bytostiami, ako sú členovia Jadovovskej dynastie a je konečným útočiskom všetkých živých bytostí.
You got that? Okay. Devaki Janmavada.
Známy ako syn Devaki.
That's enough. Read it. Just read it. It's very long.
Otcom či matkou najvyššej osobnosti božstva vo svojej skutočnosti nemôže nikto stať. Devaki Janmavada teda znamená ten, ktorý je známy ako syn matky Devaki, je teda známy ako syn matky Jašody, Vásudevy a Nandy Maharáža.
Yaduvara Parishat.
Obsluhovaný člen Jadovovskej dynastie alebo pasáčikovia z Vrindavanu, ktorí najvyššiemu pánovi ktorí ho neustále doprevádzajú a sú jeho večnými služobníkmi. Svojimi vlastnými rukami alebo skrze oddaných ako je Arjuna, ktorí sú jeho vlastné ruky.
Asyan
Zabíjajúci.
Adarham
Démonov či bezbožné osoby.
Tirachara Vijinagna
Ničiteľ všetkého nešťastia všetkých živých bytostí, pohyblivých i nehybných.
Susmita
Neustále sa usmievajúci.
Shrimukena
Svojou prekrásnou tvárou.
Brajapura Vinitanam
Vrindávanských dievčat.
Vardayan
Zvestujúci.
Kamadevam
Chtivé túžby.
Translation.
Preklad.
And a little purport on that. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna is he who is known as Jananivas, the ultimate resort of all living entities, and who is also known as Devaki Nandana or Yashoda Nandana, the son of Devaki and Yashoda.
Pán Šri Krišna je známy ako Jananivas, alebo konečné útočisko všetkých živých bytostí, a taktiež ako Devaki Nandana alebo Yashoda Nandana, syn Devaki a Yashody.
He is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious as well as every man who is impious.
Je vodcom Jadovskej dynastii a svojimi mocnými rukami zabíja všetko neblahé a taktiež všetkých bezbožných ľudí.
By his presence he destroys all things inauspicious for all living entities, moving and inert.
Svojou prítomnosťou ničí všetko, čo je nepriaznivé pre všetky pohyblivé a nehybné živé bytosti.
Removing all that which is inauspicious.
Odstraňuje všetko, čo je nepriaznivé.
And on the other side, his blissful smiling face always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan.
Jeho blažená, usmievajúca sa tvár neustále zväčšuje chtivé túžby gopí z Vrindávanu.
It's a question of creating or awakening or developing desires within our heart towards Krishna. Perfect translation. It's a question of developing desires within our heart.
To je otázka vytvárania túžieb v našom srdci,
related to Krishna.
Ktoré sa vzťahujú ku Krišnovi.
We have so many desires separate from Krishna that they have to be replaced with thoughts or desires related to the Lord, desires to serve Him and so on.
Ktoré musíme nahradiť túžbami, ktoré sú v súlade s Krišnom.
Desires to hear about Him.
Túžby načúvať o ňom.
To remember Him.
Spomínať na neho.
To glorify Him.
Oslavovať ho.
To offer homage unto Him.
Dávať mu svoje poklony.
Even here we see lusty desires.
Aj tu vidíme chtivé túžby.
Of course, their lusty desires are of not the same category. The Kamarupa, they're the spiritual nature of loving exchange.
Samozrejme, tie sú v duchovnom svete iné. A sú to tie chtivé túžby v duchovnom svete sú
spiritual nature of loving exchange.
Sú to láskyplné výmeny.
In the material world, that love transforms into lust.
V materiálnom svete sa táto láska pretvára na chtíč.
Which means seeing oneself as the enjoyer.
A my vidíme v ňom samých seba ako požívateľa.
The lust of the so-called lust of the gopis is simply to increase the pleasure of Krishna.
Ale chtíč, takzvaný chtíč gopi je len, aby potešili Krišnu.
Yes, they're eager to dress nicely and present themselves before the Lord for His pleasure.
Oni sa obliekajú a chystajú pekne, aby boli krásne, aby potešili Krišnu.
And with this mood, even if one approaches the Lord, even if it's a little mix, like Kubja, for instance.
A s takouto náladou, keď prichádzajú ku Krišnovi, ako napríklad, aj keď to nie je dokonalé, ako Kubja.
she was kind of mixed. She had a bit of self-centered desire to enjoy it, and she was also very attracted to Krishna.
Ona mala túžbu potešiť aj seba, ale zároveň bola veľmi priťahovaná ku Krišnovi.
Bali Maharaj's sister, also, sometimes his sister, sometimes his daughter, but whoever it was also attracted to Vamanadev with mixed motives.
Bali Maharajová sestra bola takisto priťahovaná k Vamanadevovi s zmiešanými pocitmi.
And she appeared as Putana because she had motherly affection but hatred at the same time.
A potom sa zjavila ako Putana, pretože bola priťahovaná ním, ale zároveň ho nenávidela.
So Kubja also had mixed intentions.
Takže Kubja takisto mala takéto zmiešané.
Krishna takes away, by his presence, he can take away all of the, say, unwanted desires within our hearts.
Ale Krishna dokáže zobrať z nášho srdca všetky tieto nežiaduce túžby.
Oh, that's a kitchen. I thought it was a swarm of hornets or something approaching.
A to je kuchyňa, ja som myslel, že to je nejaký roj sršňov.
So in the purport, may he be all glorious and happy.
Nech je vždy slávny a šťastný.
Because Krishna is always happy, he's always glorious. Devotee always wants that always be the case. May his happiness increase, his glories expand.
Samozrejme, Krishna je vždycky šťastný a slávny, ale oddaný vždycky chce, aby sa jeho sláva a šťastie expandovala.
And this is basically the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
A toto je v podstate Sankirtanové hnutie
manifestation of this verse.
Manifestácia tohto veršu.
If you look at it in many ways. As far as his being a Devaki Nandan or Yasoda Nandana,
pokiaľ ide o to, že je Devaki Nandan alebo Yasoda Nandan,
this is sometimes, let's say, generally speaking, like most of Krishna's pastimes, are only partially understood at most.
Väčšinou tie Krishnové zábavy sú pochopené len z časti.
Who are we to understand that when even great sages are mystified?
Kto sme my, aby sme ich pochopili, keď dokonca aj veľkí svetci sú z nich zmetení?
Here's a verse. Who spoke that verse now? I may understand. Sukadev spoke?
Neviem, kto povedal ten verš.
I may understand something.
Ja môžem niečo pochopiť.
Maybe Lord Shiva understands something.
Možno pán Shiva niečo môže.
Vyasadeva may understand or may not understand.
Vyasadeva môže alebo nemusí chápať.
And he's the compiler of the Bhagavatam.
A on je kompilátor.
But to understand these transcendental pastimes of the Lord, the truth of the Lord, is very not an easy thing.
Ale pochopiť transcendentálnu povahu pánových zábav nie je jednoduchá vec.
This understanding is hidden in that heart, deep in the heart of the pure, completely pure devotees of the Lord.
Toto pochopenie je skryté hlboko v srdciach čistých oddaných pána.
So the understanding is given by the Lord.
Takže to pochopenie je dané Krišnou.
As our perception becomes pure and pure and pure, cleansed.
Ako ich vnímanie je stále čistejšie a čistejšie.
Sankirtan cleanses our heart for our perception.
Sankirtan čistí naše srdce, naše vnímanie.
See things more and more as they are.
Vidíme veci viac, ako sú.
So is Krishna Devaki Nandan or is he Yasoda Nandan?
Takže je Krishna Devaki Nandan alebo Yasoda Nandan?
Which is he?
Čo je? Koho je?
He's both? Both?
Oboch?
What does that mean?
Čo to znamená oboch?
Well, some say he was like adopted, right, by Yasoda.
Niektorí hovoria, že on bol vlastne akoby adoptovaný Yašodou.
Not the real mother.
Ona nie je tá skutočná
The
mama.
real mother is Devaki, right?
Skutočná mama je Devaki.
I think most people think like that in
Ja myslím,
general.
že väčšina ľudí si tak
I don't mean
myslí.
devotees, but I'm talking in general.
nemyslím oddaných,
That's
ale
the public. He was born of Devaki. Isn't that right?
Som sa narodil Devaki, nie je to tak?
Isn't that right? He entered into the mind of Vasudev, and because Vasudev means pure goodness.
Vstúpil do mysle Vasudeva. Vasudev predstavuje
When there's
čisté
pure
dobro.
goodness, one understands maybe the Lord will appear where there's pure goodness. Okay.
Keď je tam čisté dobro,
And then
tak môžeme pochopiť, Krišna
into the
príde.
heart of Mother Devaki.
Vstúpil do srdca Devaki.
And then into the womb of Devaki.
A potom do jej lona.
And then he was born, right? After
potom sa
some
narodil.
time, in the prison cell of Kamsa.
Vo väzení Kamsu.
And he appeared in unusual form. What form did he appear in?
Zjavil sa v nezvyčajnej podobe. V akej podobe sa zjavil?
Huh? Imagine if you had a baby.
Predstavte si, že by ste mali dieťa.
Some of the Vaishnavis ladies here are pregnant.
Niektoré z našich Vaishnavis dám sú tehotné.
Imagine if you have a baby.
Predstavte si, že by ste
and the
mali
baby
dieťa.
comes out with 4 arms.
A dieťa sa narodí so 4 rukami.
How would you feel?
Ako by ste sa cítili?
Pardon? Like what?
Like in Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah, deformed or something. And they had this thalidomide children in England in the 50s. Birth control tablets which deformed all the kids.
V Anglicku je ten problém s tými deťmi, čo sa rodia potom.
Tens of thousands of kids were born with no arms, no legs, little things sticking out like this big.
Because of the pills?
Yeah.
Kvôli nejakým antikoncepčným pilulkám sa rodili deti deformované.
For ears is like this big, little tiny things sticking out there.
Alebo malé uši mali
little blobs. Arms were like little blobs on the shoulders.
Alebo mali veľmi maličké ručičky.
Horrendous, they just hid them all away.
Hrozné, oni ich len skrývali potom.
Similarly, deformation due to radioactivity and so on.
Alebo tá deformácia kvôli radioaktivite.
4 arms. Not only 4 arms, but they were carrying things, right?
A nielen, že mal 4 ruky, ale aj niečo držal.
Baby comes out with a club in its hand.
Predstavte si, dieťa sa narodí a v ruke
swirling disc.
A nejaký disk.
A flower.
A nejaký kvet.
Conch shell.
A lastúru.
That would be even more shocking, right?
To by bolo ešte viac šokujúce.
Not only that, but he had jewelry all over him.
A ešte,
you might be happy with that one.
A ako by to nestačilo, tak mal ešte kopec ozdôb na sebe zlatých.
Auspicious, this child is a millionaire in the moment.
A to by vás asi potešilo, že má toľko zlata na sebe.
He had hair, long hair. Sometimes children have a bit of hair, but not usually a full head of hair, long, beautiful, black, curly locks.
A niekedy deti, keď sa narodia, tak majú celkom veľké vlasy, ale nie, že dlhé vlasy.
And on top of that, he was fully dressed.
A okrem toho bol aj oblečený.
It was pretty clever.
Takže to bolo veľmi rozumné.
You can't imagine him. It's just a dream. Obviously, it's mythology. It's clearly obvious.
Takže toto je zjavne nejaká mytológia.
You can't conceive of it because we're limited experience. We only know this little tiny bit. We're frogs in the well. You can't conceive of something outside of our experience.
My to nedokážeme pochopiť, lebo máme na veľmi limitované pochopenie, čo je možné.
Krishna's unborn. He doesn't take birth like an ordinary living entity with sex or intercourse. He appears as he wishes, wherever he wants, however he wants.
Ale Krishna sa zjavuje nie ako obyčajná ľudská bytosť.
He chose to appear in this way. Because for the majority of, whatever you want to call it, mundane religionists or something, they see that Krishna is coming from Vishnu. This is the original God. And then he, transforms himself into this boy.
Ale väčšina takých náboženských zmyšľaných osob si myslí, že Krishna sa teda zjavuje najprv ako Vishnu a potom sa transformuje až do tohto chlapca.
Then, of course, by the request of Devaki and they offered reverential kind of respect to their own son, you could say.
Ale potom na základe tej túžby Devaki v takej nálade bázne.
And then they requested that he not maintain this form because obviously this would be the 8th son who was destined to kill Kamsa.
A požiadala, aby zmenil túto podobu, pretože on bol samozrejme 8. dieťaťom, ktoré bolo určené zabiť Kamsu.
So what did they do?
Takže čo
He
urobili?
transformed himself into a little baby. He was still with full hair and everything.
Takže sa transformoval na malé dieťa, stále mal tie vlasy, všetko.
So what did he do then?
Potom urobil čo?
In the prison, what happened next?
Čo sa stalo ďalej potom v tom väzení?
Huh? Easy one.
He opened the shackles.
Open the shackles. Yogamaya. Yogamaya came into play.
Yogamaya prišla na scénu.
All the shackles were released, at least on Vasudeva.
Puta im uvoľnila.
And was in chains at that time.
On bol spútaný reťazami.
And all the guards were put into sleep. They were fast, deep sleep. They couldn't hear anything. There was a storm going on, but the guards could hear nothing. Fast asleep.
A vonka zúrila búrka, ale oni tvrdo spali.
Yogamaya arranged for all the doors of the prison to open wide.
Yogamaya zaražovala, aby sa všetky brány v tom väzení otvorili.
And Vasudeva, naturally, when he had his wives were there, mostly in Gokul. He had 16 wives, most of them were in Gokul.
Vasudev mal 16 manželiek, ale väčšina žila v Gokule.
And at that time it so happened that Yasoda was also about to give birth in Gokul.
A v tom čase aj Jašoda mala dať zrodenie.
By the arrangement of Yogamaya, Vasudeva then took the baby and went to Gokul.
A tým aranžmánom Yogamaji Vasudev zobral to dieťa a išiel do Gokuly.
Listen to the story. But before he took Krishna,
ale predtým, než zobral Krishnu,
Mother Devaki, she took the baby, and baby Krishna actually sucked her breast.
Ale predtým, než to urobil, tak matka Devaki zobrala to dieťa Krishnu a on sal z jej prsa.
So she had that very special fortune of suckling Krishna.
Takže mala túto špeciálnu šťastie, že Krishna takto sal z jej prsa.
Vasudeva crossed over the river Yamuna.
Vasudeva prekročil rieku Yamunu.
And swapped the baby, right? With Mother Yasoda gave birth at the same time.
A vymenil to dieťa, nie? S matkou Jašodou, ktorá takisto...
But by Yogamaya's arrangement, Mother Yasoda didn't know what she gave birth to.
A aranžmánom Yogamaji matka Jašoda nevedela, čo sa jej narodilo.
She didn't know if it was a boy or a girl.
Nevedela, či to je chlapec alebo
and she was so exhausted, no one was around.
A ona bola taká unavená,
she fell asleep.
Tak zaspala.
All by the arrangement of Yogamaya.
Všetko aranžmánom Yogamaya.
Unusual thing to happen when a mother gives birth to a child, that she straight away falls asleep.
Nezvyčajná vec, že žena tesne po porode zaspí.
It's all Yogamaya's arrangement.
Ale je to aranžmán Yogamaji.
And Vasudev came and saw the baby girl there.
A Vasudev prišiel a videl tam to dievčatko.
Mother Yasoda fast asleep.
Ona bola tvrdo zaspala.
So Vasudev places the baby boy on the bed and takes the baby girl back to Mathura.
Takže on tam položil chlapca a zobral si dievčat späť do Mathury.
And of course the story comes in the morning when they could the guards woke, they could hear a baby crying.
A samozrejme príbeh pokračuje, že keď Kamsa stráže počuli
immediately came running. And the 8th child has been born, is my death.
Kamsa tam pribehol, to je
determined to kill the baby.
Tak bol rozhodnutý zabiť to dieťa.
He'd already killed 6 babies.
6 predtým.
And the 7th appeared to be a miscarriage.
A 7. bol potrat.
So now the 8th child had appeared.
Takže 8. sa teraz
my death.
A toto je moja
smrť. Kill that baby.
Zabijem to dieťa.
He picked the child up, ready to smash the baby girl. He didn't even consider boy or girl.
A on ho len zobral ani
no, this is a baby girl. Please, spare this child. You have nothing to fear. It's not a boy, it's a girl. He couldn't hear Devaki's appeal.
takto sa ho snažila
smash the baby on the stone. But the baby slipped out of his hands and flew into the sky.
Ale ona sa mu vyklzla z rúk a zlietla.
And assumed the form of
Prijala podobu
Durga Devi.
Durga Devi.
Many arms,
Mnoha
fearful
rukami,
looking form.
veľmi strašidelná podoba.
Kamsa was shocked.
A Kamsa bol šokovaný.
Because he was worshipping Durga. That was his deity.
Pretože on uctieval
And he was
Durgu, to
about
bolo
to
jej božstvo,
smash
jeho
his
božstvo.
deity to death. He was about to smash his deity to death.
A on sa práve skoro pokúsil zabiť svoje božstvo.
You rascal!
O, ty darebák.
She chastised him, you rascal.
Pokárala ho.
And the 8th child who will kill you has already been born elsewhere.
8. dieťa, ktoré je určené, aby ťa zabilo, už sa narodilo niekde inde.
So then, of course, then she disappears.
Potom zmizla.
And Kamsa's shocked what to do. She's really
Kamsa je šokovaný.
mental condition personified. Mental condition personified. It was so mental.
Bol taký mentálny personifikácia.
So then he, of course, after a while, and discussing with his associates, made a plan that they would go everywhere and kill all the newborn baby boys.
Takže potom, keď sa poradil so svojimi spoločníkmi, tak sa
Left and
rozhodli, že
right.
zabijú všetky čerstvo narodené deti.
And
Všade.
kidnap all the baby girls.
A chytia všetky dievčatá narodené.
All of his members, his national council.
Jeho národná rada.
He called his GBC body together.
Zavolal svoje GBC, všetky GBC.
Comes from the British railway system, that term, GBC.
GBC pochádza ináč z anglického železničného systému.
So all of his ministers, Putana, Aristasura, Agasura, Palambasura, they all gathered together, a whole bunch of them, discussing what to do.
Diskutovali, že čo urobia.
So this way, actually Putana was sent all over the world, everywhere, to kill the newborn baby boys with her breast milk.
Že oni boli takto vyslaní, aby zabili všetky deti.
And to kidnap all the baby girls.
A aby zobrali všetky dievčatá.
And this way they were going out. At this point, they had no idea where that 8th child was going to kill
Ale nevedeli, kde je to 8. dieťa.
But that 8th child was in the home of Nanda Baba and Yasoda Mai.
Ale to 8. dieťa bolo v dome Nanda Babu a Yasoda Mai.
When Yasoda woke up in the morning, she didn't know that this was not her baby.
Keď sa Yasoda prebrala, tak nevedela, že toto nie je jej dieťa.
Everyone was ecstatic. Mother Yasoda's given birth to a baby boy. What a beautiful boy. Never seen such beauty ever in our existence.
Matka Yasoda dala zrodenie takémuto krásnemu chlapcovi. Nikdy sme takého krásneho
Everything about his form was incomparable.
Jeho podoba bola neporovnateľná.
So attractive form.
Veľmi príťažlivá podoba.
Two-arm form. With the peacock. There's marks.
Mal do sebe znaky a girlandu a pavé pero.
Ecstasy. So was that all there was to it?
Takže
anything else?
To je všetko? To je takto to prebehlo?
Krishna was born.
Krishna sa takto narodil?
I'm sure most of you know. There was a little bit more to it than that.
Viem, že mnohí z vás vedia, že je tam toho viacej.
That's what most people's story is. And that's about it, really. Krishna was like a stepson, stepmother.
Toto je pre mnohých ľudí, väčšinu ľudí celý príbeh, že
most people, that's it.
Krishna bol ako
really, she is the son of Devaki, and Yasoda is just like a foster parent.
Že on sa narodil Devaki a Yasoda je len ako národná matka.
But no.
Ale nie.
And even in the Bhagavatam, if you read carefully, you'll see the commentary, Prabhupada also mentions, that actually no, Mother Yasoda had given birth to twins.
Ale v skutočnosti to bolo tak, že matka Yasoda dala zrodenie dvojčatám.
Both a boy and a girl.
Aj chlapec aj dievča.
By Yogamaya's arrangement, Vasudev didn't see the boy there on the bed.
A aranžmánom Yoga Maji Vasudeva nevidel tam
He only saw the girl.
toho chlapca, len to dievča.
So he took the girl.
Takže on zobral
and he put the
dievča
boy down.
a chlapca položil.
So you'd expect there to be two boys there in the morning, right?
Nikto nečakal, že by
There
tam
was the
boli.
one who was already born of Yasoda, and now Vasudeva put his one down as well.
Takže nikto nečakal, že tam budú dvaja chlapci. Že
But there was
ten,
only
čo sa
one.
narodil Jašode a aj ten, čo doniesol Vasudev.
What happened to the other one?
Takže čo sa stalo tomu druhému, ale
Where'd he go?
kam zmizol?
Disappeared somewhere? Huh?
They merged.
They merged. Impersonalism, Brahman.
With the first one. They
Yeah.
merged with the first one.
Yeah, the one from Mathura merged into the one who was on the bed.
Čiže ten z Matúry sa spojil s tým, ktorý tam už ležal.
So what does this mean?
Takže čo toto znamená? That Yashoda is the original mother.
She's the real mother.
Ona je tá skutočná matka.
The child born of Devaki is not the Vrindavan Krishna.
To dieťa, ktoré sa narodilo Devaki, nie je ten Vrindavan
He's
Krishna.
an expansion of the Vrindavan
Je to
Krishna,
expanzia Vrindavan
who
Krishna,
possesses whatever, character, qualities, etc., but not everything.
ktorý má veľa tých kvalít, ale nie všetko.
That child is not imbued, let's say, with the mood of Madhurya Ras or
To,
Sakya Ras. No.
to dieťa nie je akoby naplnené
A little bit of
Madhurya
Vatsalya Bhav,
Rasu.
little bit of Vatsalya Bhav,
Trošku Vatsalya Bhavov
and mainly Dasya,
a hlavne
Service.
Dasya
Reverence.
služobníckým.
but no presence of Sakya Ras or Madhurya Ras
Ale
in that
nie je tam
Devaki.
prítomnosť Sakyarasy alebo
Devaki
Madhurya.
Nanda. Whereas the Vrindavan, Yasodananda is full of all ras.
Ale Yashodanandan je plný všetkých rás.
So that child merged into the form of Vrindavan or Yasodanandana.
Takže toto dieťa sa spojilo s tou
And whenever there was a need,
Yashodanandana.
when demons, so-called demons, would come,
A vždycky, keď prišli démoni,
then that aspect of the Lord,
tak tento aspekt,
Devakinandan aspect, or the Vasudeva aspect,
tento Devakinandan
would
aspekt,
kill the demons.
alebo Vasudeva aspekt, zabíjal týchto démonov.
Vrindavan Krishna has no business.
A Vrindavanský Krishna s tým nemá nič dočinenia.
Absorbed in loving rasa with his pure devotees.
On sa len bol absorbovaný v láskyplných výmenách.
And when Akrura came to take away Balaram and Krishna,
A keď prišiel Akrura, aby odviezol Balarama a Krišnu,
and then was a whole story there in the Krishna book, you can read.
samozrejme tam je celý príbeh o tom Krišne.
But when they reached on their way to Mathura, from Vrindavan to Mathura on the chariot,
A keď prišli na do Matúry na tom vodze,
Akrura stopped at the river, right?
tak Akrura zastavil pri rieke, že?
The Yamuna, and then what did he do?
A čo urobil?
What did he do?
Čo tam robil Akrura, keď sa zastavil pri rieke?
He took a bath.
Išiel sa okúpať.
And what did he see in the river?
A čo videl v rieke?
Pardon?
Expansion of Krishna.
What form of Krishna?
Akú podobu Krishna? Vrindavan Krishna.
Vrindavan Krishna and Vrindavan Balaram was sitting on the chariot, just like the youth.
Oni sedeli v tom čase na voze.
And he looked in the river. What did he see?
Ale keď bol v rieke, tak čo videl?
He saw Ananta Shesh
Videl Ananta Šešu.
with the form of the Lord on Ananta Shesh.
A s podobou pána na Ananta Šešu.
Who's Ananta Shesh?
To je Ananta Šeš. Balaram.
Yeah, it's an expansion of Balaram.
Expanzia Balarama.
And the form is
A štvoruká podoba
also an expansion.
je takisto expanzia.
Devakinandan form.
Devakinanda.
Form.
Štvoruká podoba.
He saw them in the river.
Videl ich v rieke.
And then he looked back and he saw them on the chariot.
Potom sa pozrel späť a videl ich
Well,
takisto na
Krishna and
vode.
Balaram there. He had this
Krishna a
amazing
Balaram.
vision. What's going on here? He was perplexed.
Takže mal takúto víziu, on bol z toho zmetený.
He saw them, but in the river he saw them transform into these forms.
Lebo v rieke ich videl transformovaných do týchto podôb.
Bewildered.
Bol zmetený.
What's going on? Then they transformed back into the forms of
Potom sa
Krishna and Balaram
transformovali späť do
and
tých podôb
proceeded
Krishna
on
Balarama
towards Mathura.
a pokračovali do Matúry.
But actually, although appearing to be the same as Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan, the nature that went forward of Krishna and Balaram were the nature of the child of Devaki.
A hoci vyzerali rovnako ako Krishna Balaram, ich povaha bola povaha tá ako Devaki.
Whereas Krishna and Balaram, born of Yasoda, they never leave Vrindavan. They stayed in Vrindavan.
Kdežto Krishna a Balaram od Jašody, oni nikdy neopustili Vrindavan.
Just that form which was inside the form of Vrindavan, Krishna then came out and then proceeded on.
Takže len táto podoba, ktorá bola vo vnútri, akoby Krishna Balaram, tak ona pokračovala ďalej.
And after that, there's no more mention of specifically of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan.
A potom to už sa ďalej nepopisujú Krishnové zábavy vo Vrindávane.
Basically unmanifested pastimes.
V podstate
unseen, unmanifested.
Zostávajú nemanifestované.
And the pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka are the ones which are heard.
A potom sa začínajú rozvíjať tie zábavy z Dvaraky a z Matúry.
As Krishna himself, who is in Vrindavan, was not really born in Mathura, neither was Balaram born in Mathura.
Takže ani Krishna, ani Balaram sa nenarodili v Mature.
Although we hear the story of Balaram being transferred from the womb of Devaki into the womb of Rohini,
hoci počujeme tú zábavu, že Balaram bol presunutý z lona Devaky do Rohini.
Rohini is the eternal mother of Balaram.
V skutočnosti Rohini je večnou matkou Balaram.
And the child in the womb of Devaki was Anantashesh.
A dieťa v lone Devaky bol Anantashesh.
Preparing the way for Krishna's appearance.
Ktorý pripravoval cestu pre zjavenie Krishna.
Making nice bed and nice arrangements for the Lord appearing in the womb.
Peknou postelou, akože postelou lôžko pre ňoho.
At the appropriate time, Yogamaya was ordered to transfer the child from Devaki to Rohini.
Bola poverená, aby transferovala dieťa
to around about 7 months.
Devaki k Rohini.
And then that child, Rohini, was also pregnant about 7 months.
Rohini bola takisto tehotná.
The two children merged again in Rohini's womb.
Takže potom v jej lone sa spojili.
And the same thing. The Anantashesh form carried on to Mathura.
A tá Anantashesh podoba išla do Matúry.
And the real Balaram stayed behind.
A skutočný Balaram zostal v Vrindavane.
This is all unmanifested and generally not discussed or revealed.
Toto je nemanifestované a vo všeobecnosti sa o tom takto nehovorí.
Now it's interesting to note that Devaki,
je zaujímavé,
she had 8 children, men, 8 boys.
Že Devaki mala 8 chlapcov.
And the first 6, of course, were killed by Kamsa.
Prvých 6 bolo zabitých Kamsom.
And there's a long story of how this goes about, what it means.
Je taký dlhší príbeh o tom, čo je za tým.
From our point of view, this has a very significant relevance.
Ale pre náš uhol pohľadu toto má veľmi významný zmysel.
Now, if we want to understand Krishna also, the appearance of Anantashesh is very significant.
Takisto pre nás to zjavenie Anantasheshu je veľmi dôležité.
He's an expansion of Balaram, who is Adi Guru, the original spiritual master.
On je expanziou Balarama, ktorý je pôvodný duchovný učiteľ.
Whose business is to prepare our consciousness so that we become, I would say, our heart becomes a suitable residence for Krishna.
A on má pripraviť naše vedomie, aby sa naše srdce stalo vhodným miestom na zjavenie Krishnu.
So similarly, the spiritual master's business is like the same thing. Huh? To
Tak,
prepare our hearts, the same as Nanta prepared the womb, is prepare our hearts so our hearts become pure.
Takže podobne aj duchovný učiteľ pripravuje nás, aby sa naše srdce stalo čistým.
So then, what do the other 6 kids? What's the point of that? What's going on here?
Takže čo boli tí 6 detí? Aký je tam bod?
We kind of understand maybe Balaram, we can understand his position there as an antashesh. Some function is there. Well, what function do those 6 kids have?
My nejak chápeme, že tá funkcia Balarama, že on tam mal nejakú, že Antašeš a Balaram, ale čo tých 6?
Doesn't seem to serve any purpose.
Oni nemajú, nezdá sa, že by mali nejaký zmysel.
The pain that Devaki goes through,
tá bolesť, cez ktorú prechádza Devaki,
the sinful reactions that Kamsa has to undergo,
hriešne reakcie, ktoré si tým Kamsa vytvorí.
What's the meaning of this?
Aký je tam zmysel?
Doesn't make any sense.
To nedáva žiaden zmysel.
So, story is,
takže ten príbeh je,
long time ago at the beginning of creation,
že veľmi dávno na začiatku stvorenia,
Lord Brahma,
pán Brahma,
of course, at that time he had to somehow or another populate the universe.
V tom čase on musel nejakým spôsobom
He was alone.
zaludniť vesmír.
So out of his mind,
a on bol sám.
He was able to create all kinds of living entities.
A zo svojej mysle bol schopný vytvoriť rôzne druhy živých bytostí.
And he created sages.
A oni vytvorili svetcov.
Particularly in the very beginning, born out of the mind of Brahma.
Na začiatku boli teda zrodení z mysle.
And one of those sages was named Marichi.
A jeden z tých svetcov sa volal Marichi.
And other living entities were born. They got married and this and that. Marichi had 6 boys.
A Marichi mal 6 chlapcov.
Marichi is considered a manifestation of the mind, Lord Brahma, mind.
Marichi je považovaný za manifestáciu mysle pána Brahmu.
And the mind gives birth to?
A mysel dáva zrodenie čomu?
6 children.
6 deťom.
They all had specific names.
Oni mali každé
Smara, I can't remember the name.
Mená.
And they represent, or those 6 children of the mind represent 6 characteristics.
A týchto 6 detí reprezentácie mysle reprezentujú 6 charakteristík.
I'm sure you know what they are.
Určite
What are they?
viete, čo to je?
Lust,
Chtíč,
greed,
žiadostivosť,
anger,
hnev,
pride,
pýcha,
envy,
závisť
and illusion.
a ilúzia.
These 6 children.
Týchto 6 detí.
It's an allegory?
Alegória,
Is that the right word?
neviem, či to je to správne slovo.
Represents what the situation of the living entities in this world also.
Reprezentuje takisto situáciu živej
And
bytosti.
at a certain point of time, Lord Brahma, for various reasons,
A v určitom bode pán Brahma z
he
rôznych
gave
dôvodov
birth to all kinds of living entities. He had daughters also.
a mal takisto dcéry.
And what was her name?
A čo bolo jej meno?
What was his? I can't remember what his daughter's name. Anyway, he became very attracted towards his own daughter.
Bol priťahovaný svojou vlastnou dcérou.
I think she took the form of a stag or something.
Myslím, že ona prijala nejakú podobu
And
lani.
these 6 sons of Marichi, they saw this.
A týchto 6 synov Marichiho to videli.
What is this? This is his daughter. They started to laugh at Lord Brahma.
A oni sa mu smiali, že začal túžiť po vlastnej dcére.
Not the right thing to do.
To nie je správna vec.
He is their grandfather,
On je náš starý otec.
greatest personality in one sense in the universe.
V určitom zmysle najvyššia osobnosť.
But nonetheless, they laughed.
Ale oni sa mu začali
Then
posmievať.
Brahma cursed them that you will take birth as demons.
A Brahma ich preklel, že sa narodia ako démoni.
So they did. They took birth as what?
A tak sa aj stalo. Narodili sa ako?
Who did they take birth as?
Ako sa narodili? Názov teda.
Not quite. Not yet, anyway.
A ešte nie.
They took birth as the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu.
Narodili sa ako vnúci Hiranyakashipua.
The children of, I don't know, I searched and searched, can't answer. But the father was named Kalanemi.
Otec sa volal Kalanemi.
Whether he's the son-in-law or the son, is no clarification I know of. But they were grandsons of Hiranyakashipu.
Ale oni boli teda vnúcmi Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu only had 4 sons. Alada, Palada, this Lada, and that Lada.
Hiranyakashipu mal 4 synov, Láda, Prahlada, Alada.
Lada, they don't come from Slovakia, do they? The car Lada.
Yeah.
It's Russian, isn't it? Lada. Yeah. Russian. Skoda, that's Czechoslovakia. So, anyway, they're 4 Ladas. 4 lads. Maybe that's where the word lad comes from. In English, lad. 4 lads. There's no mention of a son named Kalanemi. But it said that they're grandsons of Hiranyakashipu and their father was Kalanemi.
Takže ale je spomenuté, že ich otec bol Kalanemi a oni boli vnúci Hiranyakashipu.
And naturally they were in the family of the Daityas, so they were demoniac.
Takže pretože boli v rodine Daitov, boli démonskí.
And they also went to Lord Brahma without talking to Hiranyakashipu with intentions of getting boons, that they never die.
A oni takisto išli k pánovi Brahmavi s tým istým záujmom ako Hiranyakashipu, aby dostali požehnanie, že nikdy nezomrú.
Brahma did the same thing again. He gave them, okay,
a Brahma urobil znova
you won't be killed by this, that, and the other. He didn't say you will never die, but this will not kill you, that will not kill you.
A on im teda povedal, že nejaké tie podmienky.
When their grandfather found out, he was livid. He was so angry.
Ale keď sa to dozvedel starý otec, bol taký nahnevaný.
How dare you do this without asking me first?
Ako sa opovažíte ísť za Brahmom bez toho, aby ste
curse you.
Za mňou.
You will take birth and be killed by your own father.
A preto vás preklinám, že sa zrodíte a budete zabití vlastným otcom.
And he had a vision, obviously, somehow of it states there in the script Shastra, that you will be born as the sons of Devaki, and your father will be born as Kamsa, and he will kill you.
A on musel mať nejakú víziu, že to videl a povedal, že vy sa narodíte ako synovia Devaki a vás otec bude Kamsa a zabije vás.
The nature of demons, huh? Everything they do is inauspicious.
Povaha démonov, všetko, čo robia, je nepriaznivé.
But the Lord uses all of these inauspiciousness, all these words, in a positive way to achieve higher purposes.
Ale Pán používa všetku túto nepriaznivosť, aby dosiahol vyššie zmysly.
So sure enough, they were born one by one, Kirtiman, this one, that one, as the 6 children of Devaki.
Takže potom sa takto jeden po druhom rodili ako 6 detí Devaki.
Kalanemi took birth as Kamsa, and one by one, he killed each of those children.
Kalanemi sa zrodil ako Kamsa a zabil každé z týchto detí.
There's no need to worry about this. Oh no, it's not this child you have to worry about. It's the 8th child. Why you kill this child? No need. Devaki was saying.
A Devaki hovorila, nemusíš sa vôbec obávať, zabíjať tieto deti, lebo oni pre teba neprestavujú nebezpečenstvo. Až 8 dieťa ťa má zabiť.
Little soft spot, because Devaki was like half sister to Kamsa, and he had a soft spot for her.
A tak on mal pre ňu takú slabosť a
soft spot was there.
Sestra.
As you know, he was driving her chariot at the time of her marriage.
On riadil jej voz v čase svadby.
And then that unembodied voice in the sky.
Potom
Kamsa!
Bol tam ten hlas, nestelesnený hlas z nebies.
You are such a fool.
Kamsa, ty si taký hlupák.
You do not know you were driving the chariot of your sister.
Že riadiš voz svojej sestry.
And the 8th child of Devaki will be the death of you.
A 8. dieťa Devaki bude tvojou smrťou.
Of course, Kamsa heard it very well. Immediately stopped the chariot, took out his sword, ready to slice the head of Devaki off.
A samozrejme, Kamsa to počul a okamžite zastavil, lebo pripravený odťať svojím mečom
his own half sister.
Hlavu svojej sestry.
And still he was simply worried about his own situation.
Bola to jeho sestra, ale on sa len staral o svoju vlastnú situáciu.
So Kamsa represents, you could say, material, gross, selfish sense gratification personified.
Takže Kamsa predstavuje takú materialistickú zmyslový pôžitok personifikovaný.
And Devaki from that moment was always scared stiff of Kamsa.
A od toho momentu bola Devaki vždycky veľmi vystrašená od
Scared of material sense gratification.
Bola vystrašená od zmyslového pôžitku.
And Prabhupada said that one of our problems is we're not scared of sense gratification.
Prabhupada povedal, že náš problém je, že sa nebojíme zmyslového pôžitku.
We still like to associate with Kamsa.
My stále sa radi združujeme s Kamsom.
Drugs and mundane topics and watching movies and doing all kinds of things.
Drogy,
sport, all sorts of stuff.
Svetské veci, športy.
Yeah, all different, you could say, characteristics of Kamsa.
Rôzne charakteristiky Kamsu.
Which keep us
ktoré nás
stuck.
držia.
The material desires, or let's say the enemies of the living entity, do not go away. They stay harassing us.
A potom tieto materiálne túžby neodchádzajú preč, ale
greed, anger, illusion, envy, madness.
Všetky tieto hnev, chtíč, žiadostivosť, ilúzia.
So don't forget, those 6 sons who were born of Devaki were originally lust, greed, anger, envy, madness, and illusion.
Takže týchto 6 synov Devaki boli pôvodne hnev, chtíč, žiadostivosť, závisť, pýcha, ilúzia.
And because Kamsa was always afraid, he was also fearful, as Devaki was afraid of Kamsa. Kamsa was afraid of the 8th son.
A takisto, ako Devaki sa bála Kamsu, tak Kamsa sa takisto bál toho 8. dieťaťa.
But the interesting thing that he allowed the first son to live, Kirtiman. He didn't kill it.
Ale zaujímavé, že to prvé dieťa nechal žiť.
Until Narada Muni came on the spot.
Až kým neprišiel Narada
After
Muni.
some time, informing him, don't take it for granted.
A neinformoval ho, že neber to 100%.
I've just come from the heavenly planet.
Ja som práve prišiel z nebeských planét.
And I overheard a meeting amongst many of the demigods.
A náhodou som si vypočul rozhovor
and they
medzi
were all
polobohmi.
planning to take birth in the Yadu dynasty and this dynasty and that dynasty.
A oni všetci sa plánujú zrodiť v Yadu dynastie alebo nejakej inej dynastie.
There's a good chance they're taking birth as the sons of Devaki.
Takže je tu veľká šanca, že sa práve rodia ako synovia Devaki.
So Kamsa was woken up.
Takže Kamsa bol...
Don't take your chances. He immediately went to Devaki and Vasudev.
Kamsa sa prebudil a išiel okamžite jednať a išiel
Again, they were arrested and killed the child.
A zabil dieťa.
And then one by one, he killed each and every child.
A potom jeden po druhom zabil každé dieťa.
So similarly, due to this fear
Takže podobne kvôli tomuto strachu
of Devaki for Kamsa,
Devaki a kvôli Kamsovi,
lust, greed, anger, illusion, madness were all killed one by one.
Tak všetky tieto chtíč, závisť, ilúzia, žiadostivo, všetci tieto boli zabité.
But if we're still like associating with Kamsa and what he represents, we're still attached to it, we're still attracted by it.
Ale keď sme stále priťahovaní tým, čo reprezentuje Kamsu, stále nás to priťahuje.
And these 6 enemies of the living entity will not be killed.
Tak potom tieto 6 nepriateľov živej bytosti nebudú zabité.
Anyway, this is all part of the gradual process of devotional service that one becomes more attached to Krishna.
Samozrejme, toto je súčasť celého procesu oddanej služby, kde osoba musí byť stále viac priťahovaná ku Krišnovi.
Less attached to Kamsa and what he represents.
A menej priťahovaná a pripútaná ku Kamsovi alebo to, čo on predstavuje.
We'll just read on a little bit.
A ešte trocha ďalej prečítame.
From the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam.
10. kantu Bhagavatamu.
According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Shukadeva Goswami has composed this beautiful verse to console those who lament the fact that Lord Krishna did not continue to manifest his intimate pastimes down to the present time.
Podľa Šrily Vishwanathi Chakravartiho Thakura on zložil Srila Shukadeva Goswami tento krásny verš, aby utešil tých, kto nariekajú nad skutočnosťou, že pán Krishna neprejavoval svoje dovolené zábavy až do súčasnosti.
Here, Srila Shukadeva Goswami reminds his listeners that the Lord is eternally present in this world in his holy abode.
Tu Srila Shukadeva Goswami pripomína svojim poslucháčom, že je pán v tomto svete večne prítomný vo svojom svetom sídle.
His name and the recitation of his glories.
Takisto aj v svojom mene a v prenášaní jeho slávy.
This idea is expressed by the word Jayati. He is victorious.
Túto myšlienku vyjadruje slovo Jayati, je víťazný.
Which is in the present tense rather than the past.
Ktoré je v prítomnom čase, nie v minulom.
So he's present now in the form of...
Takže je teraz prítomný v čom? V akej podobe?
Holy name. Nama Rupa. Huh?
Nama Rupa.
Kali Kalera Nama Rupa, Krishna Avatar. People say, why doesn't he appear now if he comes to establish religion? There's so much irreligion now. Why doesn't he come again?
Ľudia hovoria, prečo sa nezjaví teraz, keď má ustanoviť náboženstvo? Teraz je toľko bezbožnosti. Prečo?
Well, he has. He's here as Nama Prabhu.
On prišiel, ale je tu ako Nama Prabhu.
Srila Prabhupada explains this verse as follows in the Krishna book.
Srila Prabhupada vysvetľuje tento verš v Krishna knižke takto.
Shukadeva Goswami concludes his description of the super exalted position of Lord Krishna by glorifying him in the following way.
Srila Shukadeva Goswami teda uzatvára popis najvyššie vznešeného postavenia pána Krishna touto chválorečou.
O Lord Krishna, all glory is unto you. You are present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Therefore you are known as Janani Vas.
O Krishna, sláva tebe, si prítomný v srdci každej bytosti ako Paramatma. Preto si známy ako Janani Vas.
One who lives in everyone's heart.
Ten, ktorý žije v srdci všetkých
as
tvorov.
Confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara Savabhutanam Videsharjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Lord in his Paramatma feature lives within everyone's heart.
Tak ako to je potvrdzené v Bhagavad Gita, Išvara Sarva Bhutani Arjuna Tishtati. Najvyšší pán je vo svojom rise Paramatmy, žije v každom srdci každého.
This does not mean, however, that Krishna has no separate existence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
To však neznamená, že Krishna neexistuje oddelenie ako najvyššia osobnosť božstva.
I'll jump over this. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami warns that Devaki Janmavada, which means that although Krishna is famous as the son of Devaki, actually he is the super soul, the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. I've missed 3 sentences. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami warns them. See the word Sukadeva Goswami? Shukadeva Goswami. Must be there. Can't not be there. In this, must be. Or Devaki Janmavada in the purport. I can find it for you if it's there. Quite easy.
A Shukadeva Goswami je preto varuje slovami Devaki Janmavada, podľa ktorých je Krishna síce slávny ako syn Devaki, ale v skutočnosti je nad dušou všade prítomný najvyšší pán, osobnosť božstva.
So that child of Devaki is the super soul.
Takže Devaki je nad duša.
The devotees, however, take this word Devaki Janmavada in a different way.
Ale oddaní toto slovo prijímajú inak.
The devotees understand that actually Krishna was the son of Mother Yasoda.
A chápu, že Krišna bol v skutočnosti synom matky Jašody.
Although Krishna first appeared as the son of Devaki, he was immediately transferred to the lap of Mother Yasoda.
Hoci sa zjavil ako syn Devaky, bol okamžite presunutý do na matky Jašody.
And his childhood pastimes were blissfully enjoyed by Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj.
A jeho detské zábavy si užívali Jašoda a Nanda Maharaj.
This fact was admitted by Vasudeva himself when he met Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda at Ekacakra.
A tento fakt potvrdil aj Vasudeva, keď ich stretol na Kurukšetre.
He admitted that Krishna and Balaram were actually the sons of Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj.
A on tam potvrdil, že Krishna a Balaram boli v skutočnosti synmi Jašody a Nanda Maharaj.
And Vasudeva and Devaki were only the official father and mother.
A Vasudeva a Devaki boli len oficiálny otec a matka.
The actual father and mother were Nanda and Yasoda.
Skutočný otec a matka boli Jašoda a Nanda Maharaj.
And earlier on, the Bhagavatam established what we read earlier, what we spoke about earlier, that they were actually born of Mother Yasoda and Devaki and Nanda Maharaj.
Takže oni v skutočnosti sa narodili matke Jašode a Nandovi Maharážu.
We'll read one or two more verses from this beautiful chapter.
Ešte si prečítame nejaké verše z tejto pekné.
This is text 47. Tirtam chakre vinopanam yadajani yadushu sasarit padashucham vidvid snigda sarupam yayorajita parashvir yadarte nyayatnaya naman mangala grinam shutam mata gaditam yat grito gautadharma Krishna syaitan Nachitram Shitibara Haranam Kala Chakrayudasya. And I'm going to leave this verse till tonight rather. We have a class tonight, is that right?
A ja nechám tento verš na večer.
We'll look on this verse tonight. It's number 47. I'll just read the Sanskrit now, or the English now. The heavenly Ganges, have you found it? Text 47. Is a holy place of pilgrimage because her waters wash Lord Krishna's feet. That when the Lord descended among the Yadus, his glories eclipsed the Ganges as a holy place. Both those who hated Krishna and those who loved him attained eternal forms like his in the spiritual world.
Nebeská Ganga je sveté pútne miesto, pretože jej vody omývajú nohy pána Krišnu. Keď ale pán zostúpil medzi Jadovcov, jeho sláva zastienila Gangu ako sveté miesto.
The unattainable and supremely self-satisfied goddess of fortune, for the sake of whose favor everyone else struggles, belongs to him only.
Ako tí, čo Krišnu nenávideli, tak tí, ktorí ho milovali, dosiahli večných bodov v duchovnom svete, ako má on bohyňa.
His name destroys all inauspiciousness when heard or chanted.
Ja som trochu pozadu. Bohyňa šťastia, nedosažiteľná a zvrchovane spokojná sama v sebe, o jej priazeň usilujú všetci ostatní, patrí len jemu. Jeho meno ničí všetko nepriaznivé, keď je vypočuté alebo prenesené.
He alone has set forth the principles of the various disciplic successions of sages.
Len on stanovil zásady rôznych učednických postupností mudrcov.
What wonder is it that he, whose personal weapon is the wheel of time, relieved the burden of the earth?
Aký div, že on, jeho osobnou zbraňou, ako je kolo času, odstránil bremeno zeme?
So we're going to finish there for now this morning, and we'll carry on this evening at some time, I don't know when, some classes there.
Takže tu by sme dneska prestali a budeme pokračovať večer, neviem presne kedy.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Krishna Janmastami ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. We'll take a little break, and I think 11 o'clock the yoga starts. Is that right? Or